Hello everyone, welcome back to another garden update, and this one is a very exciting update because for the first time we are going to be able to harvest some of our produce and it is ready for eating. And that is a tiny little white lie because I did have some for lunch yesterday. I couldn't help myself, but we are going to be harvesting some things in today's video, but also we are preparing to jet off for a week away on holiday. You know, every gardener's nightmare, leaving their pride and joy behind to fend for themselves. But everything is doing super well. Everything's really, really well established. This hot weather has been glorious for these plants, and we've got some rain and thunderstorms scheduled for the week that I'm away, so I don't need to worry too much. I will have someone come in and do some watering for me, but overall, I'm not too worried. Let's go bed by bed and give you a full update of what is happening. So first up here, and probably our most impressive looking bed, we have our sweet corn that is flying up. Weirdly enough, a couple of them aren't doing so well, but the vast majority of them are now, about a foot, 2 foot high, doing really, really well. This has also got our dwarf peas in, which again are flying up, doing really well. I was a bit worried about those in the early weeks as well because some of them were a bit delayed on germinating, but we've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dwarf pea plants here doing really well, and they're now at a height in which they are safe from the birds. So I've taken off the bird netting because it got to a point where the sweet corn's now too tall to have netting over the top of it, so it needs to breathe, it needs to be able to grow. This bed is doing fantastically well, and hopefully, we haven't planted that sweet corn too late. I know you're supposed to plant it in, May, but we did it in June, and it's doing really well. This hot weather's accelerated it, so hopefully it does get to the point of being able to, fruit and give us some sweet corn before it gets too cold and kills it off. Now, our next bed here, we've got the courgettes, the beetroot, and the carrots. And the courgettes are looking really solid, a really, really good start with those. They've, you know, all started off really well. Even the one that was looking a bit sickly has caught up. Now, our beetroot is looking, a bit hit or miss. The first couple rows are really good, but weirdly enough, the rows seem to stop about halfway and we're missing, a few of the plants. And I don't know whether it is because, the sun hits that bit of the beetroot way more than it does the end bit because the end bit gets shaded by the house and it's just not survived the heat wave, or what it is. And similarly, the carrots are there, but they're being really slow. Not so sure we're going to get a pretty good carrot harvest, but we're going to keep them going and see how we go. But the courgette are looking really, really, really good. Beetroot are looking solid as well. We're not far off the beetroot needing to be thinned out. They've got to be about 3 or 4 inches tall. So another couple of weeks, that should be when I get back from holiday job, thin out the beetroot, make sure they've got plenty of space to make nice big roots for us to eat. But again, really happy with this bed. Not as happy as with the first bed, but it's hanging on well, doing really well. Nothing to worry about, really. And then our final bed here, the one which we are now able to harvest, the lettuce and the spinach is doing super well. The spinach a little bit thin in some of the rows, but the plants that are here are really healthy and really solid, and this lettuce is just doing phenomenal. This is the stuff that I've already had a bit of in a sandwich and what we're going to be harvesting today because it is super thick, super green. You're able to just cut some leaves off and have plenty for sandwiches. I'm really pleased with this. So we are going to give this a harvest in a bit for our lunch, but that is going to take a pause for a minute because we've got some more things to update you on, namely the pots down the front here, the ones where in the last video everything had died out of them, they'd been eaten, and we weren't particularly happy. The rocket is done and dusted, completely dead. Got no hope that that will ever come back. The radishes seem to be, again, holding on by a sliver, but not looking super healthy. I doubt we'll get any usable stuff off of that. And where we've replanted the one courgette in the end, that's doing solid. And I mean, more courgette's not a bad thing. I love courgette, but it's a shame we lost out on the rocket and the radish. But you know what they say, you have to have one sacrificial crop to make sure the rest of yours does really, really well. So the fact we've lost the rocket is probably the one that I was least attached to, so the one I am most happy to see be the sacrificial crop. Another really positive update is our avocado seedling. As you can see out the bottom, we have a root coming out, and if I just take it out of here for 1 second and you have a look in there, you can just see that we've got a root and some leaves starting to germinate. So it looks like our avocado plant project is going to go ahead after all. So that is all the updates as far as the garden goes. The raspberry plant is completely dead. We've given up on that one. The strawberry plants are hanging on, but slowly dying out, but they were at the end of their cycle anyway, so that's to be expected. It'll be next year we see whether or not they come back in their new location. But as for now, I am going to harvest some of our lettuce and show you how to harvest the lettuce so it does keep coming back, make up a lovely salad wrap, and call it a day. So as you can see, I'm pre-prepared with a bowl and some garden scissors. And first thing we obviously want to do is open up our bed so we can get to all of the lettuce. And what you want to do essentially is go along the line and grab a clump of the outer leaves and just snip them. And snip them, a couple centimeters off the base so they have a chance to then come back. I believe that's a weed, so we'll get rid of you. So just go along and take, the outer bits of our leaves. And this lettuce is really good. It's a mixed variety. So, we got lots of good tasting lettuce, but you can see, especially on this end here, where I'm taking the edge, you can see I'm leaving enough of the leaf so it can then bounce back. You obviously can take from the stem as well if you wish, but I am just taking, bits of the leaves because I'm going to have it sliced up in a salad anyway. You've got to be careful. For some reason, this lettuce seems like it attracts wasps. So there's a ton of wasps on here feeding from it. So you've got to be careful of those. But let's get in and grab as much lettuce as we want. I think, a full bowl will probably do me. And then put it back covered. And we're ready to go make our food. So it is really as simple as that. And you can see, we've got a full bowl of lettuce and we've really not thinned it out much at all. And we've only taken from along the edges. So that middle bit where all the new leaves are coming from, it stays intact and can grow back. Same goes for the spinach. Take the outer leaves, leave the middle, and voila. Now, the best time to harvest lettuce like this is right in the morning when it's still cold and crispy. But if, like me, you wanted to harvest it for lunch and, it's a bit warm, a bit flaccid almost, what I like to do is I like to give it a little rinse under the sink and then stick it in the fridge for 10 minutes and it crisps right back up. Now, I absolutely love a cream cheese salad wrap. So while the lettuce is in the fridge crisping up, I'm going to chop up some cucumber and some spring onions to go in that. But as you can see, I've got about 1 million spring onions that are going manky and going a bit off. But I've read that you can just chop the bulbs off, stick them in a glass of water, basically on a windowsill, and they'll regrow shoots and you can replant them. So what I'm going to do with all the manky bits of spring onion that I'm not eating, and indeed the leftover bulbs of the stuff I am eating, so I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to get a shallow basin of water, chop all the bulbs off, and stick the spring onions in that. And hopefully by the next garden update, we'll have some new spring onion plants. There we go then, a lovely salad wrap using the lettuce from our garden. And hopefully, next time I come to make one of these, we'll be using spring onion from the garden as well. Because apparently spring onions in this setup will start to use their roots to grow new shoots out the top, and then we can either plant them or just keep trimming them off from the top of this water glass and have basically infinite spring onions. And for something like that, which people buy from the shops, every week to have in their sandwiches, why not? You get the scraps. No one eats the bulbs, do they? Like, no one eats the bits with the roots on. You may as well just stick them in a glass of water and reuse your scraps and grow it back yourself. And look, veg is expensive. And I know individually it's not that expensive, but when you add it up, you're getting your spring onions, your lettuce, all of that stuff. It does add up. And if you can just, buy it once from the supermarket or buy some seeds once and then have an almost infinite supply of it going year round, you save yourself a lot of money. Like the spring onions, they'll keep growing back from the same roots and you can just trim the top off. The lettuce, you've seen, you just snip around the edges and it keeps coming back as long as you can keep it alive. And you know what? If it dies, so what? You've still got your money's worth there. It's really, really easy. And not every veg is easy to grow, believe me. And not everything you eat is easy to grow. But, some of it is easy, and pinching the pennies here and there is really, really useful for saving. And I think a lot of people, you know, could get behind growing some stuff. You don't need a lot of space to grow. Like, I'm blessed by my raised beds, but that lettuce I could easily do in a tray on a windowsill. The spring onions are on a windowsill. Even if you're in a flat, you can get this stuff built and get this stuff grown and save yourself, you know, a quid here, a quid there. But it's way better quality than what you buy in the shop. It tastes way better because it's fresh, straight off the plant. And trust me, you'll thank yourself. But anyway, I'm going to leave that garden update here. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it all survives while I'm off on holiday for a week. It's been 3 years since I've taken myself on a holiday abroad, so it's been well earned and well deserved. Thank you, doggy. Thank you for barking. I don't know what he's eating. We'll go see. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to enjoy my wrap, and I'll catch you in the next video.